In just a few hours, we'll find out for certain whether indeed Liz Truss will be the UK's third female Prime Minister. Now, GMB's Louisa James is at Downing Street. And Louisa, we're expecting the news round about 12:30. How's it all going to pan out?
Well, for one thing, the welcoming committee, I can tell you, is here ready at Downing Street, not just a street full of journalists, but you might be able to hear at some point while I'm speaking a very loud musical protest taking place just outside the gates of Downing Street. And unless the polls are very wrong, it is Liz Truss who will walk into all of this, but not until tomorrow. Before that happens, Boris Johnson has to formally resign his position. He will make a speech here at Downing Street around this time tomorrow. He and the Prime Minister-elect will then get on the plane to Balmoral, here we go, for audiences with the Queen, and then the new Prime Minister will come back here to Downing Street and make a speech around 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Will that be the point when Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak finally announces how they're going to help us all with energy bills, or we might have to wait a bit longer because Liz Truss says it could be a week, but it's hard to overstate how important that moment will be for people who've waited a long 8 weeks of this leadership contest. And a quick word about Boris Johnson, because we may not have seen the last of him either. He still has to get through a Parliamentary Privilege Committee inquiry into whether or not he misled Parliament. But if he survives that this autumn, well, there is some speculation that he could try for a comeback.
Gosh, Louisa, good luck fighting against all of that noise. But thank you very much indeed for that. Thank you. And joining me now is someone who knows Liz Truss very well. Kirsty Buchanan is her former Special Advisor who's helped her actually prepare for number 10. So what do you think, Kirsty? Do you think the Truss camp will be feeling confident, feeling cocky this morning?
Well, unless all the polls are very, very wrong, there's every prospect that after lunchtime today, Liz Truss will be our new Prime Minister. I think there's always the chance for an upset, but it would be quite extraordinary, I think, if that turned out to be Rishi Sunak. And they've all but been measuring the curtains at number 10, and we practically know who the cabinet are, so I think they've banked it. Now,
you've worked with her, and she said herself she's not the most articulate or best communicator. I mean, she has admitted that, and who can ever forget the cheese speech? You weren't alone in teasing her about that. I know that you did. You were able to say to her, you know, for goodness sake, what were you thinking? But what was all that about? Was that her trying to be more statesmanlike? Was she taking advice? And what was going on?
Yeah, so when I wasn't taking the mickey about this, I did actually ask her, you know, what happened there, because disclaimer, it wasn't on my watch. And she said that she'd had some sort of corporate presentational training, and actually that plays into all the weaknesses of Liz's communication skill, because that favours very slow delivery, very calm delivery, over-pronunciation, and that's actually kind of the last thing that Liz needs. In private, she's a very warm, very funny, very witty person. But, you know, as she said herself, she can freeze up in front of a camera and become quite stilted. So actually what you need to do in terms of comms for her is relax her, not kind of make her more stiff and more, you know, more corporate. And I think this was just a misstep by her team then.
Yeah, because there was the whole thing about lowering her voice, you know, and you know about all the comparisons with Mrs Thatcher and all of that. Is that something that she has actively tried to do? Because when you look at the photographs, you know, she does look like she's trying very, very hard to emulate Mrs Thatcher.
She's got quite a mischievous sense of humour, and my guess is that, yes, this is probably... I mean, the team has said, oh, no, all comparisons are completely overblown. I think there is a certain amount of mischief-making going on here, so it's given the media some fun. But unfortunately, one of the things she has got in terms of comparison with Thatcher is a very difficult legacy to inherit, probably the worst since Thatcher in the late 1970s.
Yeah, that is a very, very good point. What about Mr Truss? Because we don't really know very much about him, who will be the first man. I mean, their marriage survived her having an affair, but what's he like? Will he... What sort of first man do you think he will be? Will he be comfortable in this position?
Now, here I am prepared to lean into some Thatcher comparisons. He's very much, I think, in the kind of Dennis Thatcher mould. He's a calm, supportive and trusted voice. He's always been content to let his wife shine. And I say 3 cheers for men that are happy to let their wives shine. But he's always in the background. He's very supportive. He's very calm. He's a very bright and very witty guy too. And she will turn to him and rely on him as much as she relies on her aides for counsel. But he won't be looking to hit the limelight. He's quite happy to stay in the background.
Just stay in the background and let her get on with it. What sort of Prime Minister, should she win, and it looks like she will, what sort of Prime Minister do you think she will be?
There are some important characteristics I think you need to be a leader. The most important, I think, for me is that you need to be able to take a decision, for good or for ill, take a decision. And I worked with Liz at the Ministry of Justice for a year, and the one thing I know to be true, she's an incredibly hard worker, and she's very methodical in her outlook. She examines policies, comes up with the right conclusions based on logic and rational decision making, not on kind of emotional responses to situations. And she can take a decision. And I think we saw yesterday when she gave an interview, she said that she would promise to deliver an energy package for people who are really worried about this winter, and that would be coming within a week. So I think she is prepared to hit the ground running, as they say, and she is, she's not shy of taking decisions.
I just wonder if there'll be any place at all for Rishi Sunak, because obviously this has been a very divisive campaign, and giving him a top job would maybe go some way to heal some of those divisions. But do you think that's likely to happen?
Well, I mean, there's been a fair amount of briefing about who the cabinet is already, and my understanding is that those briefings are pretty spot on. I think Rishi has let it be known that whatever job had been offered to him, I think it was health, that he wasn't likely to take that. So there's every chance that he might be going to the backbenches, where he looks like he'll be sitting there alongside Boris Johnson, which will be mad awkward. But in essence, I think the minute that she becomes Prime Minister, if she becomes Prime Minister, the clock will be ticking towards the next election. It really is looming. There are some major challenges. So whether you're on the Sunak camp or whether you're part of the Boris acolytes that think their man will rise again, I think right now what the party really needs to focus on is uniting behind whoever is the new Prime Minister and getting on delivering, because there are some major challenges facing this country, and people are really frightened about this winter, and we can't afford. We've had too many years of Tory psychodrama, and I think that needs to come to an end now, and people should unite behind the Prime Minister and get on with sorting out the problems of the people are concerned about.
Kirsty, thank you for joining us this morning. I really appreciate that insight. Thank you so much. And you can watch the official announcement about our next Prime Minister here on ITV live at 12:30. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub, and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.